Okay, let's be totally honest for a second. Is there literally any acronym in the English language that induces more instant dread than DMV? Just hearing those three letters probably brings back flashbacks of endless fluorescent lit waiting rooms, super confusing forms, and that absolute crushing feeling of getting to the very front of the line only to be told you brought the wrong paperwork. And, a massive percentage of people are turned away on their very first try simply because of a documentation error. But it really doesn't have to be that way. Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we're taking all the guesswork out of the Department of Motor Vehicles. We are going to break down exactly how to get your state ID without the stress, without the multiple trips, and definitely without losing your mind in the process. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to quickly hit the state ID basics, compare the standard versus real ID, walk through your essential documents, map out an 8-step process, and wrap up with a final quick checklist.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The state ID basics. What it is and who needs it.
So, at its core, a state ID card is just an official photo identification issued by a state's DMV for people who don't have a driver's license. That's the fundamental purpose. In our society, you urgently need official government-issued recognition to do, well, pretty much anything. Picture this. You're standing at the pharmacy counter trying to pick up a vital prescription, only to be denied because you can't officially prove who you are. Frustrating, right? Whether you're opening a bank account, renting an apartment, applying for a new job, or just dealing with that strict pharmacist, you need a rock-solid way to verify your identity. The state ID provides all that official weight, just without the driving privileges.
Moving right along to Part 2, Standard versus Real ID. Basically, choosing your path.
Right off the bat, you've got two distinct paths you can take at the DMV, and deciding this up front dictates exactly how strict your document prep needs to be later on. A standard state ID works perfectly for your everyday local identification, things like proving your age or identity around town. But the real ID comes with a crucial little detail, a star mark in the corner. Because of federal regulations, a real ID is required for domestic flights and for entering certain secure federal facilities. If you plan on flying literally anywhere within the United States, you will absolutely want to take the real ID path. Just keep in mind, because it carries that heavy federal weight, the document verification process is much stricter.
All right, Part 3, your essential documents, equipping the hero for the mission. Before we even look at the lists, stop and burn this golden rule right into your memory. Bring original documents only. Photocopies are usually not accepted. Actually, scratch that. Bringing copies is the absolute #1 reason people fail at the DMV. You cannot bring a printed out photo of your birth certificate. You cannot bring a Xerox copy of your passport. The DMV clerks need to feel the raised seals. They need to hold it up and see the official watermarks. If you bring copies, you're getting sent home. Originals only, folks.
All right, so document bucket #1 is proof of identity. The great news here is that you only need to choose one single item from this list to prove exactly who you are and your date of birth. You can bring a U.S. passport, a certified birth certificate, a certificate of citizenship or naturalization, or a permanent resident card, a green card. Pick the one that is easiest for you to dig out of your filing cabinet, make absolutely sure it's the original, and boom, bucket 1 is done. Now, what's really interesting about bucket #2, proof of your social security number, is the flexibility. Again, you only need to choose one item. Obviously, bringing your actual social security card is the most straightforward route, but let's be real, a lot of people misplace those flimsy little paper cards. If you can't find yours, don't panic. Look at the other options. An original W-2 form from tax season works. An SSA 109 form works. Even a physical pay stub from your job will satisfy this requirement just as long as it shows your full social security number. Next up is bucket #3, proof of address. And this brilliantly illustrates just how many options the DMV actually gives you. You can use an electricity, water, or gas bill. You can use a bank or credit card statement, a lease agreement, official government mail, or a vehicle registration. But listen up, because here is the critical trap people fall into. You usually need 2 distinct documents for this category, not 1, 2. And they generally need to be from different sources, showing your full name and current residential address to prove you actually live in the state where you're applying. Our final bucket is totally situational. Name change documents. This only applies to you if your current name is different from the name on your primary proof of identity document, like your birth certificate. If you've changed your name, you have to bring the official paper trail that connects your old name to your new one. We're talking an original marriage certificate, a divorce decree, or a court order for a name change. This just ensures your identity matches seamlessly across all their paperwork.
Okay, part 4, the 8-step process. Let's talk execution.
Step 1 is collecting all those pristine original documents we just talked about. Step 2 is incredibly important. Visit your specific state DMV website. While this explainer covers the broad federal and state standards, local rules can sometimes have slight quirks, so always do a quick double check online. Step 3 is honestly my favorite piece of advice for this entire process. Book an appointment online. Please do not just walk in. Booking an appointment allows you to bypass those notorious waiting times and walk right past the crowds. And then, step 4, you actually visit the DMV office, documents in hand, and fill out the application form.
And hey, between steps, don't forget your wallet. State ID fees vary from roughly $5 to $35, depending on where exactly you live. Some states even offer reduced fees or entirely free IDs for senior citizens or specific hardship cases, which you'll find out about when you check that state website in Step 2. Step 5 is the photo and verification. You'll step up to the counter, the clerk will verify all your documents, they'll snap your photograph, and you'll provide your official signature. Step 6, you pay that fee we just mentioned. Now for the best part. Step 7, you receive a temporary ID. You actually walk out of the building that very day with an immediate, official paper ID that you can start using right away. Finally, Step 8, your beautiful hard plastic state ID card will arrive by mail in just a few short weeks. Mission accomplished.
Almost done. Part 5, our final quick checklist, the payoff. I highly encourage you to take a screenshot of this highly organized cheat sheet right now. Have your identity and SSN proofs ready, grab your 2 address documents, pull any name change files if you need them, and get that appointment booked. Check all 5 of those boxes and you are totally good to go.
So, are you ready to conquer the DMV? Armed with your original documents and a booked appointment, this dreaded chore genuinely becomes a breeze. But, it leaves you wondering. As society moves faster and faster into the digital age, how much longer are we going to rely on physical plastic cards and watermarked pieces of paper to prove we are who we say we are? I mean, some states are already rolling out digital IDs that live right in your smartphone wallet. So, what do you think? Will the physical DMV as we know it even exist in 10 years, or is this whole process going to become entirely virtual? Until we find out, thanks for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, good luck out there.